Alright, Melody lives 30 miles due south of her cousin's house and 40 miles due west of her grandparents' house. One day she drove to her cousin's house in a straight line from her grandparents' house. How far did she drive? Melody drove blank miles. Okay, so if you notice, this is the northeast, south, and west, and remember that they are separated by 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees because she said it was, she lives 30 miles due south, so that means straight south. So she is straight south, and due west means straight to the west, so there's no variation there. So this is a 90-degree angle because it was due south and due west. So now the next thing it says is she drove from her cousin's house, which is represented here by C, in a straight line to her grandparents' house. So how far did she drive? So they want to know what this value is. So they want to know the value of x, or the distance from her cousin's house to her grandparents' house. So again, to solve for a missing side length in a triangle, you have two options: the Pythagorean theorem or trig functions. The Pythagorean theorem requires that you have a right triangle and two of the side lengths are known. So if we look at this, we do have that right triangle again because it said due south and due west. And then we do have two side lengths that are known. It's 30 miles and 40 miles. So when you set up the Pythagorean theorem, it is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and where c is our hypotenuse. And the other two can be anything. So again, we had a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the hypotenuse is across from the 90-degree angle, is the side length across from the 90-degree angle. So this is our c, and either of these could be a or b, it doesn't matter. So we'll use substitution. A, I designated it as the 30 mile side length, so that's 30 squared, plus b, I designated it there, and that's the 40 miles side length, and that's being squared, and that's going to equal our x, our unknown, and that's going to be squared. So I'm going to jump over to our symbol lab and type that in: 30 squared plus 40 squared is equal to x being squared. So on this, here's our steps. The algorithm says to switch sides. That's not necessary. You could do these exact same steps with it set up this way. So they say 30 squared is equal to 900 and 40 squared equals 1600. So that's how they went from 30 squared to 900 and 40 squared to 1600. So then it said add the numbers 900 plus 1600 and get 2500. So that's how they get that. And then to solve for an x squared, you square root the sides. So then it was x equals the square root of 2500 and x equals the negative square root of 2500. And the square root of 2500 equals 50. And the negative square root of 2500 equals negative 50. So the question here is, if I'm talking about a distance, can it be negative? The answer is no. So our solution is that positive 50. So Melody drove 50 miles. And that's how I would solve this question.